Hey everybody, it's Christine joining you today with a new Simple Stories layout featuring their Family Fun collection, which works for just a wide variety of games, movies, all the entertaining things that families like to do together. So I'm starting things off using the tags, which I know is not a shock to anyone. And then I am also continuing to work with the same sketch this month. So I am going to build up the back of my layout with 3 different patterned papers, just like the sketch calls for. And I am going to add those to the background. I opted for red, yellow, and dark blue. Dark, like royal blue, not navy blue. To be the background simply because those are pretty calm. I did put them all right adjacent to each other, and I'm going to go ahead and then outline with a black pen to provide a good border between things. I did play a little bit. There was another like teal colored paper that would have worked all right in here as well, but I really liked the way the yellow looked. So then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the tags and I am going to use them as a frame for my photos. So I did not have anything else that I thought would work great for a frame on this. And I didn't want to just do a straight up matting of the pictures. So I thought it would look neat to put the tags together and use them as a photo mat frame setup. Just, again, to create a unique look, but also to bring in a bunch of different patterns without overwhelming the layout. So using the solid monochromatic papers in the background is more calming than if I was going to use like 3 very bold patterns. Like you see in many of these tags, you've got some very bold patterns, but using those in small ways is less overwhelming to the eye than if I used it in really big pieces and chunks, unless I'm like tucking it under in layers and stuff. So this allows me to bring in some of the really cool patterns in this collection without without cutting into a whole bunch of different papers, since this tags one is all one paper. So as I mentioned, this one is a really good collection for documenting all the different fun family things that you do. But I also want to note, it struck me that I think it's really great for lockdown photos. I felt like a lot of the stuff applied to lockdown. Granted, we weren't going to movie theaters, but we were watching movies. We were playing lots of games. We were binge watching TV shows. And while there's some of it that might not be applicable, like bowling, maybe you did Wii bowling, etc. I feel like this would be a great collection for doing a mini album about lockdown time and some of the family fun, pun intended, that you had. So definitely keep that in mind as you are going, whether you're going to create a mini album or a full album. I think it's really useful for that time period. So I actually had 2 pictures of 2 different sons playing a game in the same location, in basically the same position even. And so I decided to print both of those and use those as my pictures for today. So I went with 2 pictures instead of 3. You can see again that I'm outlining the tags just to separate the tags from the background that they're on. But can you see, like, I just love how the tags worked as a photo frame. Super unique, fun look, and brings in just some great patterns. So something that, I'm not going to utilize this on every layout, but it's a fun thing to mix into my norm approach on putting my pictures on the layout. Now, as always seems to be the case, I am drawn to the foam stickers. I just love the size of them. I love what they add to a layout. So I'm going to use the Together from the foam stickers for my title. And then I'm going to add this Let's Play piece that comes from the Page Pieces set. So the Page Pieces are a smaller collection of ephemera. So it's like the Bits and Pieces, but it's a smaller collection as far as quantity goes, with bigger pieces. So really it's meant to be that like you could use that entire set to create one page. Whereas the bits and pieces you're meant to be able to use over and over throughout the collection. The page pieces is just a little bit of a different feel. And I loved the Let's Play speech bubble. So I added that right above the together. And then I continued to work with the page pieces primarily for creating a couple of clusters to bring the whole thing together. So you can see I added 2 big pieces there. And then there were some little stars in the page pieces, like a grouping, a cluster of stars. So I'm going to use those as well along my different clusters, as well as my title, counting my title as a point in my visual triangle. So now I'm going to go ahead and use, again, one of those pieces from the page pieces to add in a journaling spot, just a little. You can see it's kind of meant to be that, and I'm just trying to tuck it underneath that spinner. And I will add in some of our favorite games currently to that. This is the kind of layout that you could update or do an update layout every, I would say, couple years, where your family gets older and your favorites change and such. My final addition today is going to be the enamel dots. I'm going to just add a few of the yellow ones to the clusters, to each of the clusters. Now what you see right now is that I'm adding a whole bunch of red ones. I'm just playing with, I'm trying to figure out where I want to add them. I know I need some additional dimension on the layout, but I don't want to, got a lot going on visually already. I don't want to be too much. So in the end, I add just some yellow clusters to each cluster. And you can see that in my final photo. And that is it. Very simple, straightforward layout. Giving you just a quick idea here of how some of the ways I approach adding enamel dots to a layout. Good visual for you of all the different ways that I try it and move things around and that sort of stuff. So thank you so much for joining me today. Keep an eye out for family fun in your favorite scrapbook stores. And if you want to see close-ups of this layout, you can check them out over at Simple Stories blog. And we will see you again next time.